Hey guys, welcome back to Based MMA. UFC 293 is right around the corner, guys, and I have never been less excited for a pay-per-view. I don't remember the last pay-per-view I was like this, you know, not looking forward to it, I guess, because man, this card is just terrible, guys. But I'm not here to talk about the card. In fact, I was thinking of making an in-depth breakdown of the main event, but I realized like the main event isn't competitive. I don't really think you guys want to see this. There's only so many ways we can break down the Israel Adesanya versus Sean Strickland matchup. And if we're totally honest, the main thing that we're all looking forward to, especially if you're like a hardcore MMA fan, is the press conference. We're looking forward to the press conference. We're looking forward to Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya going at each other for 30 minutes. Now, this is not even what this video is about, guys. In this video, I'm going to be discussing a gripe that I've had with the UFC for quite some time now. I really do believe that the UFC press conferences are absolutely garbage. They're garbage, and I don't know how the UFC doesn't see that. I don't know how they don't address it, how they don't fix it. But nonetheless, I'm going to explain why the press conferences are terrible. Now, I originally wasn't even going to make this video, guys. I decided to make this video after today they released the schedule for UFC 293, right? So if you guys are not aware, usually for fight week, the fighters get there on Monday, wherever the fight's going to take place. Then on Tuesday, I don't really think anything really happens on Tuesday, maybe like an embedded episode. Embedded is throughout all the week. And then Wednesday is usually media day where most of the fighters on the main card, they're interviewed by the MMA media, they answer questions, and then they post them online, whatever. And then Thursday is usually the press conference, Friday the weigh-ins, then the what is it? The pre-fight press conference? It's not a press conference, it's just a pre-fight conference where all the fighters, face off one more time. And then Saturday we get to the fight. That's pretty much how a UFC fight week goes down. But, with us looking forward to the UFC 293 press conference, guys, they announced that all 10 main card fighters are going to be at the press conference for this Thursday. And it got me so mad, guys. I was so mad because why do we need all 10 fighters on stage when in the reality, what we want to see is Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland talking crap to each other, going at each other for 30 minutes. Like, that's what's going to make it entertaining. And the thing is that the UFC is so inconsistent because they have done this for several other fighters. For example, if you guys remember the Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal press conference, it was just them two going at each other. And I get it. I personally enjoyed that press conference a lot, even though a lot of people didn't like it. I personally enjoyed it because the card was built on that. And we got to see these guys go at each other for 30, 40 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Throwing insults at each other. That's what's entertaining. Why do we need all 10 main card fighters to be on stage and then combined with the terrible MMA media that's going to be like, are you a lock on Saturday night? What are you going to do on Saturday night? And then the fighters, I'm going to knock him out on Saturday. I'm ready. Like, it's absolutely terrible, guys. Nobody cares about what Tyson Pedro has to say at the press conference. Nobody cares what Justin Tafa has to say at the press conference. And I get it. When some cards are stacked, okay, that's fine. Bring all the fighters to the press conference. Bring the main card fighters to the press conference. Okay, it's going to be interesting, especially when you have, like, let's say a bantamweight title matchup, and then you have, like, number one contender for that same division. Okay, you want to stir up some, you want to build up that division. And you want to give opportunity to some fighters to be able to, put their name out there and have a moment in the press conference. Now, the problem with that, guys, is that most of these fighters, they don't even take the opportunity to really, like, talk some trash. Not even talk some trash, but at least have a highlight moment. Like, let's be honest. Like, this is the fight business. This is the fight business. This is the entertainment business. And I hate when people are like, oh, no, fighters have to be respectful. Oh, no. I want to see fighters talk some trash. You're about to punch some guy. So one guy's trying to knock you out. And you can't even talk trash. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the point of the press conference is to get people excited for the matchup, to get people excited for Saturday. If you're just repeating the same questions from the media day the day before, then what the hell is the point of the press conference? What the hell? And the thing is that with UFC 293 specifically, like it's not like it's a stacked card, guys. We have Tai Tuivasa and Volkov as a co-main event. Think about that. Tai Tuivasa is coming off a loss where he got knocked out brutally by Pavlovich in the second round. When has Tai Tuivasa ever been the co-main event, now that I think about it? And then Volkov as well. Like, this guy was on the main card, the third, fourth fight of a UFC fight night in March. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are not known names. And you're going to have them in the press conference? You're going to have Felipe Dos Santos in the press conference? Why? Why? You're just taking away from the Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland going at each other, which is at the end of the day what all the fans want to see. So why the hell do we need all 10 fighters in the press conference? And the UFC has been doing this a lot lately, these last couple of months, a year. And it's really hurt these press conferences because the fighters that you want to see, interact, they don't get enough time to really shine. You know what I'm saying? Or, maybe you'll see some beef between some fighters, and then it'll be interrupted because now the MMA media has a question for another fighter. You know what I'm saying? So you never really get any momentum. And that's the problem that I have with these press conferences, is that they have way too many fighters. The MMA media asks too many repetitive questions, because at the end of the day, what the MMA media needs to do is you need to ask questions that start a conversation between the fighters. You want to ask questions like, okay, what do you think your opponent does well? What are some weaknesses that you can expose on Saturday night? Because you have to be an instigator. I hate to say it, but you have to be an instigator when you're a MMA media. And I don't know what kind of people are like hired to do MMA media, because I see these guys and I'm like, holy crap, I guess you don't need any credentials to be a journalist. And I don't know, man. I just feel like lately the UFC has been missing with these press conferences because they have way too many fighters. They don't ask the right questions. They don't let the fighters that need to really sell this fight really sell the fight. And, I just had to make a video about this because now with Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland being on the press conference this Thursday, which is what we were looking forward to the most when this fight got announced. Now we're not even really, I hope that it still delivers. And they'll probably still deliver some moments, but we're not going to see the whole press conference between Adesanya and Sean Strickland. Now we're going to have to hear, questions to Austin Lane, to Justin Tafa. You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Why that? Nobody cares what Justin Tafa thinks. Nobody cares what Manel Kape thinks. And the reality is that they have given opportunities to these type of fighters, and when they get on the mic, they're dull. They're boring. It's not like they really take this opportunity to really sell the fight, because we've seen that. Go back and look at UFC 292. Go back and look at UFC 291. At 290, you know what I'm saying? Even 290, it made a little bit more sense because you had Bo Nickel, and then you had Robert Whittaker, number one contender matchup. Those are more well-known names. So that's kind of my point. Like, when you have a stacked card, okay, that's fine. Have a lot of fighters in the press conference. But when you have Israel Adesanya and Sean Strickland, which is pretty much, I wouldn't even want to say good fight on the card, but the most well-known name on the card, you want to see them go at each other. And that's why this video is not only me ranting, but I'm also going to fix it, guys. I'm also going to fix it because I believe that there's a couple of ways they can fix the press conferences. One, do not have all main card fighters in the press conference. It is not needed. It is not needed at all. You have the media day the day before for those fighters to get to be able to shine. If it's a very exciting match of very popular fighters, okay, have them in the press conference. That's fine. But if it's fighters like Manel Kape, not a lot of people know, Felipe Dos Santos, not a lot of people know, they don't need to be in the press conference. So that would be kind of my first thing that I would do. Another major issue is the MMA media. I don't know how the UFC can control this, but I do believe that before the press conference, they should at least know what kind of questions are going to be asked. Because we do not need to hear, are you a lock on Saturday night? Are you a lock on Saturday night? We do not need to hear that. We absolutely do not need to hear that. It is not needed. So I just think that, the UFC press conference have been missing a lot lately. And I feel like this is the perfect time to really make a video about this with UFC 293 right around the corner. The card not being like being a really bad card. You know, there's not really like a video that I really want to make about UFC 293. Typically with the pay-per-views, I like to make like an in-depth breakdown of the main event, maybe the co-main event. You know, UFC 292, I made a breakdown of the Aljamain Sterling versus Sean O'Malley matchup. For UFC 291, I made an in-depth breakdown of Dustin Poirier versus Justin Gaethje, as well as Alex Pereira versus Jan Blachowicz. And then UFC 290, I made a breakdown of what's it called? Alexander Volkanovski versus Yair Rodriguez, you know. But this is not a card that I really want to do it just because, like, let's be honest, the main event is not competitive. I don't really see a lot of paths to victory for Sean Strickland. Like, he's not a guy that really knocks people out. He typically goes to a decision. You know, Israel Adesanya has faced harder hitters than Sean Strickland. Guys that are a little bit more versatile and diverse on the feet than Sean Strickland. So I feel like Sean Strickland is probably his easy opponent to date. But who knows? Sometimes Adesanya has this thing to really look mediocre against mediocre fighters. So he might look mediocre on Saturday. So who knows what's going to happen, guys. But yeah, guys, I just have a huge problem with the UFC press conferences. And let me know down in the comments below if you agree, if you feel like there's just way too many fighters in the press conferences. And maybe you guys should comment down below. Let me know what other things we can really, the UFC should really do to really make these press conferences more exciting for the fans and just really hyped up the event. Because at the end of the day, like, the UFC, I don't really think they care about giving Tyson Pedro an opportunity to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, they want to sell the pay-per-view, and sometimes I feel like they don't even do the best thing for the company, for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something that I could not ignore. But let me know down in the comments below what you think of of what I said in this video. If you also kind of agree that the press conferences have been lacking lately and why they have been lacking. So guys, please make sure to like the video. Please make sure to subscribe. You know, my videos have been doing a lot better lately. My subscribers have been going up, and I really appreciate all the support and the viewership. But please make sure, guys, to like the video, comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.